Hey, folks, we've got a big league announcement for you. Coming soon, First Star Logistics and In the Trenches with Dave Lapham will be showing our appreciation for your support as both listeners and viewers with a humongous giveaway. I'm talking massive, worth over $5,000 in cash and prizes. $5,000? You kidding me? Unbelievable. So make sure to subscribe, turn on your post notifications, follow me on Twitter to find out when it launches, and get all the details. Don't be left out of this one. What do the Baltimore Ravens coaching staff and players that you've spoken with the Ravens think about this year's Cincinnati Bengals? What's their thought process there?
So the first thing is across the board, this Bengals team's legit. This is not a Bengals team that they had a weak schedule or they haven't played anybody. They know who the Bengals are, and there's a tremendous amount of respect. What Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have done on that offense, but also the rest of it. Tyler Boyd got a lot of respect for what he's done over the years against the Ravens, and T. Higgins caught a lot of people's attention. There have always been some pieces with the Bengals in the last few years, but now there's pieces everywhere, and that's really what strikes the Ravens is that your secondary is playing at a super high level. Your linebackers are getting it. I think Sam Hubbard's done a great job of anchoring that defensive line and bringing guys to a point where they are playing their roles. They're not leaving big gaps open. They're not making mistakes. The big takeaway to me is you don't have anybody on that team being selfish.
Yep.
That's what really strikes everybody here in Baltimore is that this is a Bengals team that is talented and unselfish, and that is a dangerous combination. And Burrow has, you've seen it firsthand as we look at him. We saw him once last year. Obviously, all the tangibles, the big arm, good feet. But to me, what makes Burrow so dangerous, his vision. He sees what's coming. He sees the blitz. He sees what's open after the blitz. He sees the stunts. He's got a Microsoft processor in that brain because he knows if this is where it was designed, here's what's open. If this is what they're doing, this is where I'm going. You don't see that in second-year quarterbacks very often, which is probably why he's the first second-year quarterback since Dan Marino to throw at least 2 touchdown passes the first 6 games of the season.
Yep.
That is not a fluke. That is not an accident, and that's not just arm strength. That's the processor that makes him so special.
It's interesting because last year he had he got Ravenized. He got sacked 7 times, got hit 15 times, and just this past week I saw Herbert get Ravenized. If you have not seen the Ravens, what Don Wink Martindale can do with that personnel and with his scheme and all that, if you haven't seen it firsthand, one thing watching tape, but when you're out there and you're facing live bullets and it's happening, boy, that can be. And if your offensive line is not, recognizing, communicating well enough, and there's free runners and you're getting pounded, I'm telling you, boy, that'll Ravenize you. And I think it's interesting to see how Joe Burrow is going to take that process that he went through last year, compartmentalize, learn from it, and move on, because it can be, it can be tough to overcome. You can't let one period of being Ravenized turn into multiple times being Ravenized. You just can't have it happen.
But Dave, judging from what I've seen from Burrow this year, I don't think that's going to be something that will leave a permanent scar.
I agree
with Joe Burrow because of that processor. You hit the word, he learns. I talk about how Lamar has improved so much since he won his MVP. I thought Joe Burrow had a great start to his career, but he's vastly better quarterback this year.
Yep.
Because he's seeing everything and he understands. It's one thing to see it, but it's another thing to trust what you see. Mm-hmm. And he trusts what he sees. He knows what to do with the ball. So he has, a year ago, he wasn't up to speed for the kind of speed he was going to see from that Ravens defense. And for people who don't fully understand what the Ravens do that's unique, it's a positionless defense is the easiest way I can explain it to you.
A good way to put
it. Most teams are coaching, okay, there's your safeties, there's your corners,
yep.
here's your Sam, here's your Mike. When Wink Martindale sets up a lot of his fronts, there's defensive linemen, but there might only be 2. You might have 7 along the line, only 2 guys with their hand in the dirt.
Yep.
So who's what role? Who is the Mike? Who's the, he designs this defense to have a look where it's literally positionless. And if you're a young quarterback, that's really hard to figure out. I suspect Joe Burrow would be much more successful at facing what he saw last year if he sees a version of it this week.
Hi, Dave Lapham here. Have you heard about In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics? Catch new episodes from the world of sports and broadcasting. Search for In the Trenches with Dave Lapham on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.